Xbox, the Box and Xbox podcast. My name is Potato, and I'm with my good friend Alice, who's that way.
Hi.
You told me earlier which way to point, and I still can't remember. It's this way.
Whatever. Anyway, at the moment I'm wearing a bit of pink top of my hoodie, pink headphones. And the reason they're doing this is because on the day we're recording, there has been a funeral for Brianna J, who's been has died, which is a murder thing, and then she's it's been much talked about, so she finally has a funeral. And according to her parents, people who attend the funeral are asked to wear pink for it. So we didn't get to join over there, but I'm in mourning for her death, so I'm wearing a bit of pink as well. So it's just like showing my solidarity.
Actually, I didn't know about that. I would have maybe. I don't have actually. I don't think I own any pink clothing, but I didn't know about that, so I didn't really have any chance to. Sorry about that.
That's right.
I'm just wearing black.
That's
wearing
black clothes. Fine anyway. That's okay.
So yeah, that's a bit. That's a bit. That sucks. Sorry to hear that.
That's okay. But I think it's just like it's a bit dark in the moment. Like I think there's a lot of like scary news and all this doom and gloom stuff. Especially the US, it's like going into our more darker places. But we're not discussing about the political news. We're just like saying that no matter how bad it is, we're trying to make sure we just put up on a smile and deliver the Xbox news. So wherever you are, just to let you know that we are that you are loved and you're not alone. So that's what I can say.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. I wasn't really expecting to start on such a somber note, but if you're feeling down or lonely, there's always someone out there for you to talk to. We're here for you as well. Consider us like a friend that you've never met. I suppose, unless you know us, then you have met us. But you know what I'm saying. We're your Xbox compadres, your Xbox homies, your Xbox friends. So we appreciate everyone who's listening to us because we all go through down times as well.
I like to confess though that I did say that I'm a maladaptive daydreamer, but I was like taking some time off for doing video editing. But I spent like a past week or the few days where I just paced up and down throughout the room, and I've been thinking about so many things, like what's happening in the world, what kind of ideas I have, and yet I haven't done any actions when there's a lot of things to do in the house, like doing gardening and stuff like that. But I just felt as if I wanted to walk up and down all the time because I just seem to be less happy about the reality of things and I prefer my dreams. So I just feel that it's really important that it's best to talk up about your mental health and you seek support. It's also worse that, especially the NHS is like having lots of strikes and that they're not offering a lot of support for mental health. So I think it's always important to like raise awareness of what any problems we have. Also, that the maladaptive daydreaming is not recognised by the NHS, which means I'm not getting a lot of support for this because it's only like 1 or 2 years ago, and I thought this related to do with my autism or anxiety. But I realised there are other maladaptive daydreamers who accept the same behaviours, like going up and down, pacing up and down, and even have vibrant dreams. So if you're one of those maladaptive daydreamers who are listening to this podcast, then please let us know in the comments and talk about how you feel and how games help you get through all this pain. Because I was playing the games and I thought, I could be a games designer. And I didn't really get on into the games industry. But what I've concluded is that games are pretty much there for stress relief. And which is why I've been playing a lot more Halo just to like get me through all those dark times. So I think it's always important to know the games you're feeling most comfortable with and something that just like like lets you escape from the darkness of the reality. I'm sure that
Sure,
makes
sure.
sense, really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like I always say that you have your comfort games. You know, you're like there's always that one or two games that you'll always just go back to all the time, even though you've played it a million times. And like Halo's one of those for me as well. I like Minecraft as well. Just like, oh, I'll just spend like 12 hours on this for no reason, even though I've already done it millions of times. I totally get it. Yeah, it's a bit of a heavier subject than I was expecting to start the podcast off with, but yeah, no, I understand. I mean, obviously, if you're suffering from mental health, speak up, because that's the most important thing. Uh, there is an issue like yeah, it's a lot of issue. It's an issue that the people don't speak up enough, and they just suffer in silence. And there's always people out there to support you. So yeah, uh, I totally agree with everything you're saying. I mean, I've had a bit of I'm having a bit of a rough time in work recently, so I'm suffering from it as well. But I've got my friends around me, and I got you around me, and I got other people.
You've
So
also been dealing with like depression as well. Like, how you getting on with it?
yeah,
Is it all already good so far?
yeah. I mean, uh, yeah. I mean, for the listeners out there, hi. Uh, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are suffering. I mean, a lot of people suffer from mental health issues and don't. You wouldn't realize it on the surface because they're acting all happy and bubbly and stuff. But uh, I like they always say that the people who suffer the most from like mental health issues usually are like comedians and stuff. They like to so they're the people you would think would be the least likely to suffer, but they're usually the ones who are suffering the most, I guess, because they're going to cover it up with humor. I'm doing okay. Work is really stressing me out. They've not been very supportive or helpful. So, but yeah, well, hopefully we can get that sorted. And yeah, but what I love doing and what keeps me happy is doing my YouTube stuff. So doing this and doing my pro wrestling. So that's something that keeps me proactive and keeps me happy. It keeps me, so
I did a couple
yeah,
of
bit heavy.
Yeah, I did a couple of videos where I compared the sounds from the Bandit rifle with the DMR from Halos 4 and
Yeah,
Reach. I didn't do the Halo 3, even though it's in the clip, but no, that's the battle rifle. No, I didn't
yeah,
put that in because the DMR was only
no.
introduced in like Halo Reach, then it came back in
Oh,
Halo
reach.
4. But I didn't do the video on
Yeah,
Halo 5 because I did the 10th anniversary of sound comparison between Halo 4 and Reach because the sounds are very different due to the new sound
yeah,
designer. But with a Bandit
yes,
Wiper released, I now get to like compare the sounds between those, the DMRs, the Bandit Rifle, and of course the Commando.
no,
And I think it's really interesting because in Halo Infinite, some of the sounds are actually like it's kind of newish, and it's not like
yeah,
as much of a punch as the like in Halos 4 and 5. So I think it's really interesting.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Because one of the things I remember from going from Halo 3 to Halo 4 is that they put a lot more like impact, and like they made the guns sound a lot louder and a lot more impactful. I don't know if that's a good word for it. But yeah, no, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, because as you said, you put that video up. I watched that last night. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting video. Uh, yeah, if you're interested in the sound comparisons, that was up on the channel. That's our latest video.
Which
Um,
sounds would you prefer though?
uh, I don't know. I guess I think Infinite's got the right balance. I feel like four's a bit too much. I feel like three's a bit too subtle. I feel like Infinite's about right in the middle. It's the Goldilocks effect. It's not too loud, not too quiet.
I prefer Infinite
Just
because I
right.
think I would be like
Yeah,
a bit biased because each game is like improves in sounds, but I always miss like a lot of these powerful sounds from Halo 4 because like they're much crisp, it has a more impact, and I think it's
yeah,
really great. And I think this should have been incorporated
yeah,
into Halo Infinite, especially the better sounds. So if they were to take a lot of things from Halo 5 and have a bit of a shenanigans from like Halo 4, then it would have worked for Infinite. But I have to say, many of the sounds from Infinite does sound really good. Also, I like the Banshee where it starts up and it sounds like you boot up the original Xbox. And then there's a few other
Yeah.
things as well. So I think the sound design team have done a really good job, and they did a Bandit well, felt pretty good in terms of sounds. But everything else with it could have been better, like slow rate of fire, could have been more powerful. And now you got this big team battle playlist. It now replaces the Magnum with the Bandit rifle, and I think this is a bit of an odd decision because, according to the people on the Blitzers video, it's like it's a red noodle because it's not always that practical for close counters, and you don't always get the best results, but you can easily get killed off, and it just doesn't get the right kind of balance as you get with the sidekick on the Magnum.
I'm always team sidekick. What I think might be an interesting video comparison is you maybe should do this: is have the Bandit rifle or just gun sounds, and then compare them to Destiny. See how Bungie's adapted over time. That might be an interesting take on it. That might be for future.
The only thing is that
see how they've improved or changed.
The only thing is that one, I used to play Destiny on the PlayStation 4, but I don't, and I haven't actually touched Destiny 2 because otherwise I would get some gameplay footage. And secondly, the guns are pretty different compared to like Halo Infinite. Like you're talking about Magnums, but we're talking about there's a revolver, there's a rifle, and it just seems like
there's millions of guns in Destiny.
Oh, it is. Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. I mean, like the Hawk Moon used to be my favorite, which was a hand gun. That was really powerful. But then there's lots of different handguns and lots of different machine guns and automatic rifles and stuff. So yeah, it might be quite tricky. I just thought it'd be an interesting comparison if you somehow.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Because obviously Bungie made the original Halo games, and now they're off on their own making Destiny. So it's just interesting.
The only way I can get around to get this working is that would be like taking gameplay footage from other people's channels, but it'll be very difficult to deal with the sound mixing and getting the permissions mixed up because I think really if I were to step into Destiny 2, I mean I don't know how many of the weapons am I going to have access to, or whether I have to play the game in order to get more weapons, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So I think it's just I'm looking at it in a more complex thing, whereas with Halo Infinite, you get all the weapons at the start, and now with Forge, it's easier to get all the weapons into the game. So
that's very true. Yeah. So before we get on to what we've been playing, I also wanted to mention that you've watched The Last of Us season 1, haven't you? I believe.
Yes.
I haven't got around to watching it yet. How much is it different from the game? Because I played the first game. I've not got around to watching the series yet.
That much.
Not much, is it?
There were a few changes. There's the increased emotional impact, and also there's a few bits of changes. They also included some extra plot points, whereas there's a Bill's relationship, and there's also extra bits there. But what I did find is like how wonderfully they managed to adapt the original game's storyline along with the DLC, No One Left Behind. There's also an Easter egg, which I think is a newish storyline that's in the final episode. I won't spoil it for you, but I think there's some Easter eggs, and you'll probably have to find out yourself. But what I was thinking of doing is I'm going to get someone from the PS3 Trust and do that out of the box to talk about Last of Us. And because you haven't seen it yet, then it just means you might be a bit late to join in. But
late to the party.
But yeah, you can get the trial of Now TV to watch The Last of Us Season 1, and it's quite good. The only thing is that the producers have said that Season 2 is only to take a part of Part 2 and could lead into multiple seasons of it. So seeing you have actually vented a lot about like Part 2, how much you thought about the whole story.
I hate Part 2 so much. I hate Part 2 so much. Abby fucking sucks. I'm sorry. I hate her so much. She's such a bad character. I hate her. Anyway, and her friends I hate as well. They're all assholes. Oh my god! Like
Yes.
the guy's got his girlfriend pregnant. And she's like, I'm pregnant, but I still want to go to the battlefield to get shot at. It's like, you're a stupid bitch. You're like 9 months pregnant and you're running around trying to get shot at. And then her boyfriend's cheating on her with Abby, and then Abby's fucking just like, yeah, I'll cheat on you. It's like, what the hell? You're all assholes, all of you. I'm glad you. I don't want to spoil it, sorry, but I hate that. I hate part 2. It's such a bad. I liked part 1; it was one of my favorite games ever. And part 2, I hated. I could rant about Last of Us, and we've done it before.
It just makes me. It makes me wonder how the writers are going to approach season 2. It's like, we're going to have all the bits there, and it'll be interesting to see how they adapt to this small screen. But the big thing is, it's just like, like, how do I put it? The amount of people who've actually liked the story in part 2 and how much they praised about it, I think it's quite likely that there may not be a lot of changes, and the chances are you may still hate the seasons 2 from onwards. So I think the chances are that season 1 is probably enough for you.
The thing is, I don't want to spoil it, but Pedro Pascal is like the star of The Last of Us, right? Season 1, right?
Yes.
So I don't want to spoil it for everyone, but let's just say that Pedro Pascal's character Joel is not in the second one as much as the first one. So it kind of like, I want Grogu. Bring Grogu to The Last of Us. Get like Baby Yoda just randomly. Baby Yoda just shows up in The Last of Us.
If The Last of Us comes out on DC Plus.
Yes, please. I haven't been watching The Last of Us. What I've been watching is Ted Lasso. Have you ever watched Ted Lasso?
Is this on Apple TV Plus? Is it?
Apple TV Plus. Apparently, also we have 3 months of Apple TV Plus for free with Game Pass. That's awesome.
Yes, I got that too. So that means I can catch up on that, and also get to catch up the Tetris movie on it as well. So.
I forgot about the Tetris movie. Yeah, the Tetris movie. There's Everything Everywhere All at Once, which won a lot of Oscars. Have you ever watched Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom?
Yes.
I'm going off topic now. Short round.
I know what you're going to say. So I'm going to say this. There was a kid who plays the kid who in the Temple of Doom, and he was
short
with Harrison Ford. I don't want to guess his name, but apparently the actors for both of these characters have all grown up, and in the Oscars, like last week, they get to meet again, and it was such a huge, wholesome moment.
Yeah, and he won the Oscar 20 years after, because basically he retired from acting. So he basically, if you ever watched The Goonies or Indiana Jones, he retired from acting after that. So like 20 years ago, and now he come back to do Everything Everywhere All at Once. And then he won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. So it's a nice, wholesome story. And Brendan Fraser won Best Actor. So I was like saying, Brendan Fraser and Short Round won Best Actors and the Oscars. What year are we living in? Because Brendan Fraser's for like the Mummy, isn't he?
Yes.
Anyway, that's gone off topic. Ted Lasso's great. I've really enjoyed it. It's about an American football coach who comes over to the UK and coaches Premiership football, like real football. So he doesn't understand any of the rules or anything, but he's really like optimistic and positive because that's what Americans are.
So it's just like he finds a British definition of football over the UK.
Yeah, basically, basically, like all the jokes are like, where's he from? He's like, he's from Wales. It's like, is that a different country? Yes and no. It's like, how many countries are in this country? 4. It's just like basically like all like British jokes. Or like he doesn't like cups of tea, or and it's like and everyone keeps calling him a wanker as well, which is hilarious.
I think you've got to be interested to watch the whole show because I like the cultural differences, and now you just sold me on this concept.
It's really funny. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it. So I've already watched it before, so I'm rewatching series 1 and 2. Season 3 is coming out today, I think. So I need to catch up before I watch it. But yeah, it's like it's about an American guy coming over and learning about football over here. Everyone really loves it. It's won a load of BAFTAs and Oscars and stuff. Well, not Oscars. What's the TV equivalent? It's won a load of BAFTAs. Won a load of awards.
Is it the Golden Globe Awards? Is it?
Yeah, it might have. Yeah, I can't remember now what the American equivalent is, but it's won a load of awards. Yeah, and it's very popular. But yeah, that's what I'll be watching Ted Lasso. You'll be watching The Last of Us, and I'll probably end up watching The Last of Us. You might watch Ted Lasso at some point.
I've been rewatching the Red Dwarf series, and I've been watching the Series 10, 11 because I already got the Series 1 to 8 on like DVD, and I was thinking like when I'm like a different place and I got access to Sky, but I would just catch up on like Red Dwarf's Series 10 to 12. So if you were on Now TV trial, you should be able to have access to them as well. So that's another good reason, though. So yeah.
Yeah, so I've just got Apple TV, so I don't know if I want to get Now TV and Apple TV at the same time because like I want to I don't know, we'll see. But then I got it for 3 months. 3 months is a long time to Yeah. If you're interested in Ted Lasso and you have Game Pass, you get a 3-month free trial to watch it if anyone's interested, and also the Oscar-winning film Everything Everywhere All at Once is also on there, and I think The Whale's on there as well, which is the one that Brendan Fraser won the Oscar for as well. So there you go, awesome stuff. Plug in. I'm doing the job for Xbox there. We're not sponsored by Game Pass or anything. It's a cool offer that I've appreciated.
The kind of sucky thing though is looks like you may only get like about 7 days of Now TV. So I think I don't know whether it's worth going for that, or you just cross your fingers and pray that you may actually get 3 months of Now TV on like Game Pass. But in my honest opinion, that's awesome. You might also hope that Monopoly comes back and give you like extra amount of Now TV trials. So who knows?
Yeah. Well, I'm quite good at binge watching stuff. I'm pretty sure if I got Now TV, I'd end up watching all of The Last of Us within like 2 days. I do that. I do that quite a lot. So I think a week is more than enough for me to watch all of The Last of Us. But as I said, I'm currently watching Ted Lasso. When I finish Ted Lasso, I will probably get The Last of Us then on Now TV.
You put the last.
I know this is funny.
You take the last from the Lasso to the last.
Yeah, or was it Ted? Yeah, Ted Lasso of us. Ted Lasso of us. There's a quiz show over here. I'm going on another rant again. I don't mind. There's a quiz show over here called Richard Osman's House of Games. There's literally there's a round in that show called Answer Smash, which is literally just doing what you just said. You get 2 answers to 2 questions. You got to like mash them together. So it would be like Ted Lasso of us. It would be like the answer. So you like both. It's on every day on BBC. I watch it all the time because I like being a good quiz show. So yeah, that's all for tangent. So should we get on to actual gaming? How long are we talking about random stuff? I love it.
23. What have we been playing? Oh, that's a very interesting one. And see if we can guess if I actually ever played anything this week. I think I would be lying if I said I didn't play anything.
Well, I can see the doc of what I can actually see what games you've played because you've written it down on our document. So,
don't spill the secrets.
I mean, have you played anything this week? I don't know. I've got no clue.
But anyway, let's deal with this lesser games in a moment. So, what have you been playing at the moment?
Me? Okay. So, Halo Infinite. I mean, we've both been playing that. We're trying to finish the Battle Pass. I say trying to finish the Battle Pass. I've just started it, really.
I suggest we discuss a bit later because we are going to end up talking so much about it. So I think we've been playing Halo Infinite. It's got more content, more reasons for us to play. But then we've been playing other games. So Is that right?
True. Yeah, I've been playing quite a bit. So yeah, I've been playing FIFA. I think that's the thing you've been trying to get me to say, because it's like it's not the most interesting thing, but you get a 10-hour free trial of FIFA on Game Pass. So I was like, I'll play it for a little bit.
10-hour free
my character
trial.
10-hour one, yeah. So of FIFA. But it's literally 10 hours. It's not like 10 hours from when you download it. It's literally you can play it for 10 hours. So I made a character called Lewis, who I put in the midfield of Man United, and I just basically dominated everyone because my character is OP. I love it. I was in a football mood after watching Ted Lasso, and then obviously I watch Premiership football every weekend. I was saying this to my mum earlier, is that I think football content's probably the thing I watch the most at the moment. I have a wrestling channel, so I watch a lot of wrestling, and then we've got this YouTube channel which is all about gaming, so I watch a lot of gaming content. But I also watch a lot of football,
and I spend a lot
of football.
Yeah, I've been spending a lot of time daydreaming.
Yeah. So Man United got battered last week, and then they had to come back, and Liverpool have been showing off about how they beat us, and then they've done nothing since. So there you go. So good times. But yeah, I've just been playing FIFA. I just wanted to catch up on football. I've been in a real football mood. Then I also played a little bit of Guilty Gear Strive.
How you find it so far?
It's all right. It's a fighting game it's got like the same art style as like Dragon Ball Fighters. It's like a cartoony art style,
but better
the fighting is.
There's more details on the Guilty Gear
Strive,
and I think there's like Guilty Gear. That's previous one. It's just like introduces a 3D animation aspect, and now this one it's got more details, and now it's just like more polished animations, and just makes it really nice. So how are you finding it so far?
It's all right. I haven't played as much as I would like, because I went on story mode. I was like, oh, I'll do story mode. This will be fun. And it is literally, it was like the first chapter of the story mode was literally a half-hour cutscene. Like, it was essentially like watching anime. With subtitles at the bottom, because I'm more of a dub than sub. I mean, I know, controversial. And I just watched it, and just basically like, okay, am I going to get to fight in a minute? And it's like, nope. It's just like, it was cutscene after cutscene after cutscene. Different characters keep getting introduced. I'm like, okay, when am I going to fight? Am I going to fight now? Nope. Okay. And it was literally a half-hour anime, essentially. Nothing happened. I didn't get to play in the game at all during all the cutscenes. It was literally half-hour cutscenes. I'm like, what's going on? I'm really confused. So then I quit out of that, and then I went and played on the arcade mode, and that was okay. That was fun. But yeah, it's just like, it was weird that the story mode is literally what, get popcorn and just sit back, because you're not going to do anything for half an hour. So yeah, that was my experience of Guilty Gear. I barely played it. I mainly was watching anime. Essentially, this is literally just like one of my Japanese animes. It's like one of my Japanese animes. Wulong is also I've been playing, and I think I'm going to probably uninstall it because I've had enough now. The first major boss in the game, I can't beat it. I beat Melina or Melina in Elden Ring, which is the hardest boss in Elden Ring. But the first boss in Wulong, I can't get past him. He's an absolute bellend. I hate him. I can't stand the guy. I over leveled. I get everything. I leveled up all my perks and stuff. Got all the stuff I need, and then I'm getting like that close to killing him, and then he'll just get a lucky shot on me, and then I have to start over again. And it's like I've done that like 4 or 5 times, come very close, like multiple times. I'm like, yes, I'm about to kill him, and it hasn't happened. I'm just really frustrated. Why they have the hardest boss in the game as the first major boss, I'll never understand. It's so dumb.
Yeah,
because everyone says everyone says the game gets much easier after that, and I'm like, I can't get past him. So I'm like, I want to keep playing, but I can't get past this boss. Apparently, only 33% of people who played the game have got past that boss. Apparently,
it's just ridiculous.
66% of people can't get past it. Apparently, just hilarious. If you're one of the people who've got past it, congratulations. You're much better in those type of games than me. I'm an old man. I have bad reflexes. I'm dyslexic and dyspraxic. He's not very well suited for someone like me. I'm sorry. I've beaten Elden Ring, and I've beaten the hardest boss in Elden Ring. So
I guess to you now, it's not Wulong, it's now so long.
yeah, pretty much. I think I'm going to install it. I'm fed up of bashing my head against this boss. I've tried to beat it about 20 times now, and I just can't get past it, and it's just not fun. And yeah, it's annoying. It very upset me. It's very annoying. So, what have you been playing?
I'm not going to try it anyway, because I think given with Team Ninja, with my experience with them, I think they just typically go buggy, but I think this is pretty much closer to Ninja Gaiden in cheesiness compared to Dead and Alive. And I just think,
yes,
I think this is definitely brings up the same kind of nightmares you get from the Ninja Gaiden, because I played the demo of Ninja Gaiden about a few decades ago, and I remember this being so cheap and difficult. And now when you said about the first boss being really hard and then the rest of it is easy, it's just I mean, haven't they even dealt with the difficulty curve? Or are they just trying to separate the wheat from the chaff? It's just ridiculous.
I guess I'm weak. I want to beat it. It's so annoying, but I just can't beat it. It's all about countering, and you got to counter at the right time and all this stuff. And I've done all that. I can get past the first stage really easily. There's the second stage for some reason it just won't. I just can't beat him. It's very annoying. And I've watched guides and stuff how to beat him online, and I still can't figure it out. So very frustrating. What have you been playing?
Well, as someone who's a two-faced narcissist nihilist, I've been playing Plague Inc. So
love. I absolutely adore Plague Inc., but it's one of those games that I really loved Plague Inc. for a really long time, and then I played it just when COVID just started, and I'm like, I feel bad now. After it's like, oh, this feels dirty. Playing this game after we've lived through COVID, it feels really weird.
I don't really give two. I just don't really give two shits about it. So, but I've been playing it on my iPad Mini.
Oh, okay.
I used to get it on the iPad Air. I've also been playing on the iPad Pro 12-inch, and it just makes it stupidly huge. But once I get the iPad Mini,
I got it on my phone.
Yeah, I don't game mode.
I've played it in a while, but
I don't really game on my phone these days. I tend to play games on the iPad, and I think the iPad Mini is really a good game system for it, in my experience. But yeah, I just got back into it, and even if I've beaten it at different levels, I've just been playing the ones with bacteria and just tried to start on countries around the Middle East or some sort, and then spread the virus from there. I've been doing it at higher difficulties, and there's brutal, and there's I tried to beat it, and it's just so ridiculous. It's so easy for them to cure the virus, or even so difficult. You just try to do strategies, but it just seems as if it's more luck based, and it's just ridiculous. But all of it is just so fun, and it just makes me more cheerful about the world, because I just really want to end the world of this.
So for people who don't know what Plague Inc. is, essentially you make your own disease and you try and spread it around the world. And the best bet is always try and go for Madagascar first, because that's the hardest place to get is Madagascar. It's it gets very isolated. I played it quite a bit. It's a fun game. It also makes me laugh when you think about it, because you play that game and it's just everyone is vaccinated. It's that didn't happen in real life. A lot of people refuse to get vaccinated. So you think in real life people would actually want to get vaccinated? Nope, apparently not. It's when the people yeah, the joke. The thing I always hear is the saying used to always be "avoid you like the plague," and it was wow, we've lived through the plague, and see people don't actually avoid avoiding you like the plague's not really a thing, because a lot of people don't care; they still act exactly the same. So, so the next game you've been playing, I'm really fascinated about, because this is one of my favorite games of all time. You've started playing Undertale. Hello.
What do you
One of the
mean
best games ever made.
started? I played it again.
Wait.
Because I bought it
Great
on
game.
PC. Only got as far as like playing one of the Papyrus's puzzles. And I completed it on PlayStation 4. I went back on the Xbox when it came on Game Pass, and I only just got as far as like beating most of the Papyrus's puzzles there. But the reason I went back into it, because apparently it's leaving Game Pass, and I want to rush through it. So I just played all the way until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to complete as much as a game as I can possibly be until I can get to 75% when I reach the second save point in the core. So I just had to wham through all this stuff and just got all the way to that point until I get all the achievements. But it's actually one of the best games with achievements because, like, there's story-based achievements, but because Toby Fox doesn't like to force people to play it for the achievements, so he threw in a special room where you just come in. And I think it was different on the PlayStation 4, but on the Xbox One.
It is different,
Yeah, so you play the slot machine, and you just get coins, and then you get more coins to donate another of them to get achievements. But you just basically like spam A, get all those panels, and get lots of coins, and you can get more achievements. And I think this is just a really perfect way of doing this. It just reminds me of like in one of those Borderlands 2 videos that Dave was like playing the slot machine, and you were like, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing? You're getting addicted to gambling."
Slot machine. That was one of my first videos on my YouTube channel. Yeah, like I actually got like a rare item from the vending machine from Borderlands 2, which is like really like super rare item, which is like almost impossible to get, which is hilarious. Oh, but I love Undertale. It's such a good game. I got all the achievements on it as well. It's such a good game.
I haven't properly completed it because on PlayStation 4 I stopped and I only got to one of the first ending, but I haven't got through the true pacifist ending or the genocide ending, so I haven't really experienced what it's like to play against Sans, for instance. But I don't really care about spoilers at the moment because I think most of you know what Undertale is in the story.
Yeah,
but
pretty much. I think everyone knows about Sans. I mean, that's kind of the big meme in it.
Anyway, I was really anxious when I got back to it because I found the Undyne's boss fight to be really frustrating. You just have to like learn how to like point into different directions, and it's until you have yellow arrows that like goes in the one way and then switches in the opposite direction, and it just gets really confusing. And then I just had many tries, and then it turns out, oh, you just need to flee from battle and try to get away into the next area. It's like, I think that's the only way to do that. Now, you mentioned with the Miss Muffet, you had a hard time with it, right?
Oh, I struggled so much. Back in when I first played it, I struggled with Miss Muffet so much.
Is it on video?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's on my YouTube channel,
I should check it out.
Yeah, but if you do the spider bake sale in the first level, it makes it easier. It's like little things like that, which is great about the game.
I just learned that when I was doing the boss, and then I think I bought it from the spider bake sale, and then it's like I ate them up, and I didn't realize you had to eat them in order to skip the boss fight. It's like, oh gosh. But as I've been struggling so much with it, I just got really frustrated and I struggled with it. So I had to backtrack all the way to the snow village, go in the Riverman thing, just go over there, collect the healing items. And then when I came back all the way over to the boss fight, I've been using healing items, spent money to reduce attack, and make sure I complete it. And that's what I did. So that's good. But the rest of it is just like going into the core, and turns out there's a bunch of really annoying enemies, and you just have to learn how to dodge bullets for all this way until you get to the second save point in the core, and that's when you should have all the achievements. But when I get that done on like Monday or Tuesday this week, I realized that Undertale is still on Game Pass, and it's still got more time.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you're interested to play Undertale, then you can get it on Game Pass and complete it
It's
before
such
it
a good game.
leaves next week or two. I think so.
If you enjoy like bullet hell games or like Pokemon or games like that, it's really worth playing it. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Top 10. It's in my top 10 games of all time. I love Undertale. Such a good game. Like it's just got loads of little things in it.
Apparently, it's
Sorry,
a
go
bit
on.
of more of a love letter to Earthbound, which is also inspired
Earthbound.
by Twin Peaks, which is also what I've been watching a little bit in Paramount Plus. So it's just like
Ooh.
it's really interesting. Once I get to watch Twin Peaks, it's obvious to know where all those references pop up in the shows you love. It's just such a huge
Yeah.
influence, especially on a lot of the Japanese media in the 90s.
Yeah. It's so good though, Undertale. It's got like a lot of little things in there that like you just don't notice the first time around. It's just like there's like little hidden things. There's so many things. Like there's a snowman that you can find. Like this isn't a spoiler; it's just a little thing. So there's a snowman you can find. He goes, "Can you take a piece of me with you?" And then try and get it to the end of the game with that piece of snowman with you. And you can either eat it or you can just destroy it or you can just throw it away. But like if you keep it, like it makes him happy, and then, like it changes the ending slightly, and it's just like so little things like that. And it's brilliant. Like all the characters have such personality. Like the doggos on there are brilliant. Like the armored dog is amazing. If you keep petting the dog, his head gets longer. It's hilarious
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It's just like little things. It's so funny and well written, and it's just it like plays on like a lot of gaming tropes, and it like turns them on their head. Oh, it's such a fantastic game. It's one of my favorites. It's a shame that like people have a negative view on it now, as I said, because the fan base can be a bit toxic. But if
It
you
doesn't
haven't
really
played
deserve
Undertale,
it.
I would recommend trying it. It's such a good game, and the fact that it's made by one person is even more mind blowing. So Toby Fox made a masterpiece, and I would highly recommend it. So should we move on to actual news, because we've got loads to get through, and we've been talking for like an hour already.
Actually, there's going to be a one big section of Halo Infinite before we move to the news, because it's got what we've been playing and the news as well. So we're going to have to go through that. So both of us have been playing Halo Infinite. Now, people must be wondering why. So do you know?
Because it's great. And because season 3's out, I guess. Is that what you want?
Yes.
Season 3, which we talked a little bit last week. We talked about our review. We had like a review of season 3. So if you want to know everything about season 3, we cover it in an extensive fashion last week as well. There's a video about it, like our review of it, but we are going to talk about it a bit more now. But yeah, we talked about everything, didn't we, last week? Like the new armor sets, the playlists, and stuff like that. But yeah, we got a couple more news stories to talk about when it comes to this. So when you go ahead and tell us a bit more about Halo Infinite. Ooh.
So I don't know if you already mentioned a lot about it, but in Halo Infinite Season 3, there's more content, but the story continues, and we already talked it in a review back in I think it was with I think it's just discussed about like what's coming and sorry, it's just I got a little bit distracted there, but yeah, I think it's what's
last week.
Yeah, so what's in it is that this one has a story where it involves a web AI, and apparently someone is like dealing with it, and it leads to some interesting things where someone discovers Oni. But that's only a tip of iceberg to what is coming, because it's got like new maps. It's also got like new weapon, which is the Bandit rifle, as we discussed earlier in the podcast. And there's a shroud screen that distracts enemies. And not only that, you got loads of new content, and that includes the Mirage and the Chimera. I think the Chimera was it the fracture. There's a fracture firewall, which is like coming out probably next week, and that's where you get all those new awards and you get no customization options of Chimera. But the Mirage is actually my favorite armor core, and it's
Yeah.
better than Mark 7 because it's just like it's really interesting. Like, how do I put it? It's just like it's a retro armor. It's not as lavish as Mark 7, but also has a
Yeah.
ruggedness of like uh, Rakasha, but it's just like really nice and it's got lots of good customization options. I did complain about the helmets, like they look really similar to the more like fishbowl things, but it's got lots of really good helmets. Like
Yeah.
there's like front visor ones and they look really nice. And there's also one of the helmets that you can get attachment for it, and it makes it look like a helmet that came from Metroid. And I think that's
Yeah.
really, really cool. So
Yeah.
that's a cool part about it. But yeah, it's just like been playing loads of it just to get lots of levels into the pass, and at the moment, I went beyond level 50 in it.
Oh wow. I'm level 15. I'm not that high into it at all.
Yeah,
I've done all the
so
weekly challenges.
remember, you're 15. I'm level
Yeah.
50 beyond. And I'm hoping the Google
Yeah.
Assistant knows of that because that's that's really annoying. But yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like uh, it's just I've been like spending so much time to get the extra levels, and it shows how much that I'm got
Yeah.
really interested into the game and how addicting it
Yeah.
is. Like I was like, gonna first play this, and this is about annoying because you have cliffhanger and chasm, but then I still play it,
Yeah.
and I found the Ascension Slayer to be like so good. Once they've thrown
Yeah.
Fiesta and bits like that, it just makes it more interesting. But the King and Hill
Oh,
is just like
Fiesta.
iffy, and said like how some of the points with captured points in it is just like a bit awkward and stupid. But now this week, which came out yesterday, and now is replaced a playlist with like the
Yeah.
Big Team Battle Unlimited, and it's
Yeah.
supposed to be on a new map, but it's actually only on Oasis and nothing else. You just have to deal with different modes like Team Slayer. You have Ascension Slayer, which is really shakes things up. But I just find the Slayer and the capture flag things to be really annoying, and you're just stuck doing this Oasis thing all over again. It's just like, and even Total Control. Oh my god! But
Yeah.
once you go into like Fiesta, which is kind of a bit rare when you get into it, you get some like upgraded weapons you get from the campaign, which is the white shelled ones, and you can even start the game with them. And I think this is what really makes it totally interesting. And I think it just really shakes up the game. So I just really love that. So
Fair enough.
so it's just kind of a bit. It's all right. I don't like playing for it a lot of times just to get all the challenges. And it has an interesting stance. Not something I'll be aiming for, but I need to get more experience to complete the battle pass. But also in the shop update, like last week's shop is alright. Aquahex bundle tempting, but I think I would rather buy fewer items because it doesn't have all of it. But the shop this week, I definitely bought a bundle. It's like you get a new helmet for the Mirage, you get the chest piece that changes color based on your visor, like a Chimera ones. And I think that is like really cool. So I just went for that. Also got some really nice weapon coating because it kind of looks like a retro grey with some bit of red in it. That's quite cool. And I think there's some other bits there. Didn't like the knee pads because it protrudes out. It just makes me think as if the kneecaps has just like popped out. It's like, ew.
I don't want that. I'll have to have a look at that. I haven't looked at the new items in the shop yet. Interesting.
But there's some really weird stuff going on with it because there's one package which gives you green camo. Like, you know, there's army clothes that some of the people wear back. And I think I met one friend who always wore that green forest camo all the time.
So where's he gone? I can't see him.
You're probably not seeing him because of that. But this is literally coating for armor coatings. But this is the thing because this bundle gives you a forest coating for each and every armor core in the game, as well as every other coating in the game too. So Magnum, Battle Rifle, all that, and you get all the coatings, and they're being sold as, and they are individual items, not even cross-core. And guess what? You pay 1,400 credits for all of this.
Ooh. No thanks. Oof, no.
It's ridiculous. It's actually one of the coatings. Like, you got this like autumn renter camos where autumn is yellow and renter is white, and they're supposed to be cross-core coatings. And guess what? It treats them at the moment as if you get a separate coating for each weapon, and you pay extra for that coating. It's just
man,
I just don't really want to buy that. I would buy that if it works on any coating and it's supposed to be a cross-core thing, but it's not. It just treats it as if you get all those items and you pay 1,400 credits for it. Anyway, the other items are that you got this like, I think it was another bits of coating and other bits. I think I kind of forgotten about them. That might explain why, but yeah, this is just ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous. You see this package and you have casings where they're supposed to be cross-core and they charge you more for it. Whereas the bundle that has a really interesting helmet and a chest piece went for it because it's got more variety for the good price. But not the forest camera one where you pay extra for duplicates. I know, I just went on a bit like a broken record, so...
No, that's all right. I get what you're saying. It's like, I get frustrated by that kind of stuff as well. So, yeah. And also you've written on our notes here that you had some issues in the community playlist as well. Like it kept crashing. Like, were you having issues?
Before we go to that, there was also like daily offers, and I think some of them are really good. There's Ashton Fitch, where I was like so tempted to get it, but I think I kind of missed out on that. But one of the items which came out on it, and turns out you can get a coating for the UI thing, which is called a Drift Sapphire, which is like, it looks like a cat and falcon, but it's blue with golden bits and the red bits too. And I thought, oh, cool. But you already get one for UI, and it's a legendary one, and it sells it for about 300 to 500, and that's only for one armor core. But guess what? If you look at the customization, you see the same exact coating for Mirage, and that's not also available. It's supposed to be cross-core, and you're still paying for separate bits of it. Where's the cross-core? People have been demanding for it. It's just like, it's been teased last year that we can gain cross-core visors, we're getting cross-core coatings and shot eases, and it's been teased by the 343 boss. But then he got fired from it, and now it's just like, oh, you're now getting parts that are supposed to be cross-core coatings, and now you're paying money for separate individual ones. And it's just like, this is not on. People have been demanding for this, and this is the most requested feature. So how is it hard for those coatings to be adapted as cross-core coatings? And now there's going to be more armor core. So how are you just going to approach that? It's just...
What your money?
Yeah.
It's just greed. That's all it is. It's just greed. They feel they can charge you for the color green 5 different times, and they all do it. It's ridiculous.
I wonder what Angry Jay would get to say about it. If it's the more blue.
I agree. $4,000 for blue. I can't remember exactly something like that. So that's an arm. There's a gun in what's the name called? Valorant. It's blue, and it was like you have to pay like $4,000 or something for it. It's like $4,000 for the color blue. Yeah, that's Angry Joe's rant. So funny. Oh, it's brilliant. But it's true. People. The problem is some people pay these stupid prices, and that's why people do it. Oh, so annoying.
You said about the whales and how much they are not like still paying the game, and how it's been catered to them, and I think it's just what really shake things apart.
Unfortunately, yeah. I have to watch that film by Brendan Fraser, The Whale, because I think that's what it's about, or something like that. So it's interesting. So yeah, should we move on to?
Well, you also mentioned about the bugs there, and
the
season 3 is really good. I really enjoy it, and we still play it. But I think it's
yeah.
just like there's issues with it where, for me, there's people who are saying there's performance issues and there's still these things, and I think I noticed some of it as well. Like when you look through armors, there's some bit of stutter as well, and it's just not great. But what I did experience is that every time I start the game, some of my settings get reset, and that includes team colors because I stick to red and green. Sometimes it gets reset to blue and red, and it also resets
Alright.
the subtitles as well. And it's just I have to set them up every time. Well, what's more apparent
Oh,
is that whenever you start up a game, like after you turned off your Xbox, you start the game and you always get treated to the same cinematics that plays every time you start the game
yeah.
again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you get that too,
Yeah,
right?
it's annoying. Yeah, I always just skip them, but yeah, it's annoying. Yeah, I don't know why that happens. It's so frustrating.
I just
So
hope
yeah, they need to fix it.
the
Sure.
343 is aware of these issues and they're hoping to bring the hot fix soon just to fix a lot of them. So once we don't get to see cinematics again, I'll be so relieved because it just means more button presses before you get to the matches. And it's just like, oh, it's just so annoying, isn't it?
Exactly. Should we move on to the next subject? Oh.
Yep. Who news? At Xbox O'Clock.
So, should we do Fantasy Critic League?
Oh, and that's all part of the news, isn't it?
Yes, we've updated our Fantasy Critic League. I'm second at the moment. Am I second? I can't tell. Last, I think.
I'll just go bring this up in the red view. So there we go. Main screen turn on.
So I've added so since we last were on the Fantasy League, I'm in last place, but I've also added a couple of games to my team. So I've got 2 slots remaining now. Since we last did an update, I've purchased Replaced, which is a game by Ukraine. It's a independent game by Ukraine. It looks kind of cool, like a 2D platformer game. It was shown at the Xbox conference. City Skylines 2, which is like SimCity. The Last Case of Benedict Fox, and Bayonetta Origins, which I just got 79 points for. So woohoo! And then since we last were on here, I got PlayStation a couple more games. They got Call of Duty 2023. Trishy. It looks like Breath of the Wild ripoff, basically. And then I kind of screwed him over a little bit. I think I got him Crime Boss Rock City, which the game looks awful.
Well, that's not okay, isn't it?
It's the one with what's this? With a load of famous actors in it, like Chuck Norris and stuff. It looks really bad.
Oh, I think I saw the trailer for it. Yeah.
The Game Awards, yeah, they got that in their team, and then they got Dead Island 2 as well. So that should be fun.
I wonder if Dead Island 2's ever come out.
Yeah, it's supposed to be coming out this year. But yeah, they got Call of Duty for 2023 as well, so we'll see how that goes.
They got Anton Blast as a counterpick. How dare they?
Oh yeah, and then yeah, you've added Anton Blast and Tekken 8 as well, and Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad. Oh no!
I did make a bid for another game on it, but it hasn't been updated yet. So let's see how it goes. But I'm gonna save up some slots for when the E3 month passes. Like once a bunch of new games are unannounced, I have more opportunities to bet on games. So I know you only got 2 slots left, but so far it's just PlayStation guys are winning because a lot of the games on the list have been released, and you're already catching up because there's a bunch of games in there that you already got it on your list. But I think it won't be long until PS3 Trust guys get over half of these games on this list. But yeah.
So there's a lot of games on there, and yeah. So you've purchased a game that hasn't been added yet.
No, I already did that today, so it hasn't been updated because it should be updated in 3 days. But what really annoys me is that, like, when I make a bid, it doesn't pop up in the current bids, and it's just what really, really annoys me. It just doesn't tell me which ones I bidded on. Otherwise, it's just like, I made a bid on Hogwarts Legacy, and I'm like, oh, I just want to do Metroid Prime 4 because I haven't did any counterpick bids yet. And when I came back, it just turns out, oh, Hogwarts Legacy has actually been added when I should have added, like, Metroid Prime 4, because if I did that, I would have had a much better chance of earning points.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I wanted to add Baldur's Gate 3 and what was the other one? Valheim, but they won't let me put either of them on because they're in early access, which is annoying.
Yeah, it's a bit stingy though, and it doesn't let you like add any of the games, especially the DLC.
I forgot to mention it. I played a little bit of Valheim as well. That should have been in what we've been playing. It's kind of fun. It's like Minecraft. But
well, it's not mentioned as part of this feature, so oh well.
Yeah, I just thought I mentioned that while I remembered that I did play that this week. So the Fantasy League is heated up. Ooh, big games are going to be hitting in the next few weeks. So the Fantasy League should be really spicy next week or so. When Resident Evil 4 hits, it's going to be interesting. For sure. Okay, next up is the rumored PS5 Pro. I don't see the point.
So what
PS5 only just
So what did they mention about the PlayStation 5 thing? What's so different about this upgrade?
They haven't really explained it'll have higher graphics and quicker load times. It's like, okay, can you explain how? And they're like, no. Apparently they've shipped a load of dev kits to America. There's rumored that there's going to be announced next year that there's going to be an upgrade for the PS5. What I want a PS5 Slim, because the PS5 is ridiculously oversized. I sent you 2 pictures from my Facebook that I took when I bought my PS5.
Facebook?
They are literally...
What's Facebook?
I put them on Facebook and then I've sent them to you on Discord. But yeah, there's 2 pictures of me holding my PS5 when I bought it, and it is literally gigantic. The PS5 is so oversized. I feel like a slim version would be a welcome addition. A Pro, I don't see the point.
Yeah,
to be honest,
because
they haven't reached the potential. They haven't used the potential of the power of the PS5 yet at all. Like, I have a PS5, but literally it's pointless. I kind of regret buying it now. Literally, the only 2 games on there that you need a PS5 are Ratchet and Clank and Returnal. Neither of them I'm that fussed on. Like, God of War is on PS4. So's Horizon Forbidden West. Like, most of the games on there are also on PS4. Oh, and Spider-Man Miles Morales is on PS4. So there's loads of games that are already on PS4. So what is the point of getting a PS5 anyway? And then what's the point of getting a PS5 Pro? I don't understand. Silly.
Well,
anyway,
I think the last generations that I think there's only a slight reduction to the PlayStation 4. Like, it's more like a rounded rectangle, whereas the PlayStation 4 is just like, it's like a slab or some sort. And then I don't know if it's thicker for the Pro version, because I think the major difference between the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation Pro is the 4K resolution. So if they were to release a PlayStation 5 Pro and they say, we got more graphical power for 8K, then, like, really? We don't need that extra power, because it's just like as if we have plenty of money to buy an 8K TV when the current phase of the TVs in the moment is OLED ones. And these are still ridiculously expensive. Whereas
Sony thinks you're rich.
Yeah,
because they charge you 500. Because they charge you 500 quid for a console and then 500 quid for a VR headset on top of that, and then 70 quid a game as well. It's like it's not like we're going through a cost of living crisis and everyone's struggling to buy food or heat their house or anything like that. It's not like everyone in the world is struggling to pay rent or their bills. No, yeah, everyone's got loads of disposable income. PlayStation.
I would say that Sony definitely have a mind of a Tory, because they think as if everyone's as rich and doesn't really care for any peasants.
bloody yeah, it's like that's Xbox peasants.
Speaking of
But
Xbox,
I was also going to be. Oh, go on. The
well,
PS5 Pro was also the part of the PS5 Pro rumors is they're going to have a detachable disc drive as well that you can buy, so you can have a disc. You can add the disc drive onto it or remove it. Okay.
that does make it
I
sound
feel
like it's a Xbox 360 removable drive because you remove the hard
yeah.
drive and then stick it back. Wonder how much these things are.
It's going to be a fortune. The thing is, with the PS5, I kind of get it because if you look at the design of the PS5, it looks like it's designed without a disc drive in mind. It's like a nice like vase like V shape without the disc drive. But when you put the disc drive on, it's like got like it looks like it's got like a tumor on the side of it, like a lump. So the disc drive just pops out. So it's like curve and then whoop. It's like it looks really out of place, the disc drive. So I can kind of get it. It's like, why would you sell it separately? I don't understand. It's so weird.
It's not a tumor, though.
Just get a Series S.
It's not a tumor.
Not a tumor.
No, because
it's not a tumor.
It's actually more of a cyst, because if you press on it, it just pops out a disc.
Ew. Yeah, it is like a cyst. Yeah, it's not. It's the PlayStation 5 looks much nicer without the disc tray. Like the digital version of the PS5 does look a lot nicer. Saying that, I still think it's an ugly sin console, and I feel the Xbox looks much nicer.
But the problem with the digital one is you have to end up paying 70 quid for each game to put on a digital edition of a PlayStation 5. So you have to deal with either budget or style. What would you prefer?
And you save money by getting rid of the disc drive, but then it costs you more in the long run because everything's more expensive digitally. So it's like, doesn't make sense. The only thing is, if PlayStation had their own equivalent of Game Pass, which was good, then it would be worth it. But they don't. So I basically I rarely use the disc drive on my Xbox. I mainly buy everything digitally and get everything on Game Pass. So I don't really need a disc drive for the Xbox, but I do need a disc drive for the PlayStation because everything's really overpriced on PlayStation, like digitally and stuff. So yeah, as I said, I got my PS5. I literally went on it yesterday just to check if there was any games I wanted to download. I've literally played it. I've barely played it since I bought it. I shouldn't have bought it really. As I said, I feel like they haven't justified the price of a PS5 really, because the only three games exclusive to PS5 are Demon Souls, which is a PS3 game, so really it doesn't count. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart and Returnal. Everything else is PS4, PS5 cross generation, so it hasn't really justified the price of getting a PS5. So why should we get a PS5 Pro? I don't understand it to me. Like you haven't really pushed the PS5 to its limits yet, so why do we need a Pro version? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think it's just like a bit unnecessary, really. But speaking of which,
speaking of unnecessary, my life.
Yeah. Speaking of Xbox, if Microsoft were to mention an upgrade to it, I suppose you don't feel that great about the PlayStation 5, but how would you feel about Xbox?
If they made an Xbox, Series Z or something, or like the Xbox X Pro, the Xbox Series XX, double X,
probably double X or XL.
Would it be just a bigger rectangle?
Yeah,
the bigger rectangle. I use my Xbox a lot more than I use my PlayStation, so it'd be something I would probably be more useful for. It depends what it does, I suppose. Like the load times are decent, the graphics are decent. I don't think I really need a Pro Xbox at the moment. If it goes, it's the only way you can play Starfield at 60 frames per second at 4K. I'm like, all right, I'll buy one then. It's like
yeah, they're like a new
with Xbox.
It's just kind of a bit like a new 3DS conundrum. Like, you can't play Xenoblade Chronicles unless you play it on the new 3DS because it's got a faster processor to process all of that. So if Xbox were to say, "Oh, you need need to get this console for it," then it's just like saying, "Oh, they just announced a new line of consoles," because Xbox Series X and S is pretty much upgraded versions of the Xbox One.
Yeah. So it's what I was saying is like also like a lot of games that come out on the Xbox, they go, do you want to go performance mode or do you want to go frame rate? So do you want 4K with better visuals and ray tracing, or do you want 60 frames a second and like better frame rates and all that stuff? So I guess the pro version, you could do both in one, instead of having to pick between the two SKUs, you get you get like the premium experience. But I don't see the point. I graphics are pretty like amazing as they are. Like I've already got 4K. I've already got 60 frames a second on most games. I don't really see what a major improvements that you could really have graphically on the Xbox. I don't know. I personally don't think I would need one, but I probably would get one eventually because I'm an Xbox fanatic and I play a lot of Xbox, and you know. But yeah, I don't see the point of one. But yeah, I probably end up getting one at some point. If it depends how much it is as well. And yeah.
By the way, I think, in my opinion, I think it will be nice to see a new model of Xbox, but it'll be separate from S and X. So we don't want to see upgrades to S or X, but instead have a bigger model that can do performance mode the high graphical mode, complete with ray tracing at 60 frames per second. And I think this will be a huge deal breaker because it's just like, wow, it's awesome. Like, you can get a system that can do the best of both worlds, that you have high graphics and high frame rates. And I think this is what really makes it really good for things like Halo Infinite or Doom Eternal, because I think they already have like pretty graphics modes.
So what you could do, if you really want to confuse the customers, is if you want to get an X console without a disc tray, and then you want to get an S console with a disc tray, and then you have like literally 4 SKUs. You could have the Series X, the Series S, the Series SX, the SX, and then the Series XX, XS. So it's the X with the S drive, and then the S with the X drive, and then so you got the Series S, Series X, Series SX, Series XS. There you go. That's what we need. 4 SKUs.
If you want Xbox with porn on it, then it will be Xbox Series Sex.
Triple X.
No, it's Sex.
Yeah, Series X. The sex, yeah. That's what I said. Yeah, the sex. You want the sex or the triple X.
Anyway, I think it's just really neat to have this kind of upgrade, but I just think probably no need to like upgrade the consoles, because I'm really impressed with the Xbox Series S after many months. And you get the same kind of power you get for the Xbox Series X, only you get it on a smaller form factor that does 1080p. Like, if 4K wasn't a thing, this thing would have been the next Xbox, and it's just really fantastic. Did you think?
What I actually think is if they're going to do another SKU for Xbox, I think they should do the streaming box, which is what we said before. So the even cheaper version of the Keystone, or a handheld. Like, get one of the two. I think that's where they should go next. I think that's the next thing they should do, is get an Xbox either handheld, so it's like basically like a Steam Deck, just like a really chunky thing that streams all your games, or get a streaming deck, which is like literally going to be like 50 quid, and then, like, it'd be like dirt cheap to get people into the Xbox ecosystem. I think either of those is a good idea, or if not both. You don't think we need a Pro. I think the X is already kind of pro enough as it is. You don't need to kind of push it any further. It's already like the most powerful system in the world. It's more powerful than PS5, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'll be the better idea.
Shall we move on?
Personally.
Because I think we're definitely like huge, chunky sections. And now we got this contender for the longest episode. And I just realised that I'm actually recording in 1080p at 60 frames per second. So I just don't know if that's a coincidence or not.
I'm in 60 frames. Look at all those frames.
Yeah.
Diablo 4 is not coming to Game Pass. Boo. That makes me sad. I mean, does that mean if Activision's deal goes through, is it still not coming to Game Pass, or or what?
That's a good question.
Like I didn't.
Because
I think if the Activision deal goes through, it probably will come on Game Pass. I would imagine.
Well, I think I'm just gonna find this one, but I don't know because I don't think I got it there. But I think I'm just trying to find the article there. But if I can't find it, then too bad. But I think it's just a bit of a shame. Oh, hang a minute. I am professional that I got everything prepared. So wasting time, making a bigger file that breaks my Mac Mini. But anyway, so let's see.
It'll take you 3 weeks to upload this episode because it's like 4 hours long and 1080p and 60 frames a second.
Did you?
The file size will be 20 gigs.
Have you dealt with it before?
Not something this ridiculous. There's a lot of. I usually go 720p to be honest when it comes to the recording.
Yeah, I usually do that, but I think I was in a bit of a rush to put it through. But anyway, I don't think I found the article anyway. So, but yeah,
that's fine. But yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. It says here, going for this one. It's been lots of questions, and they're going to buy the Activision Blizzard as part of Xbox. And they just have no plans to release it on Game Pass at the moment. And it just seems like it's a bit unsure, but it looks like we may not be able to see Diablo 4 to come out on Game Pass. So
that's a shame.
So,
we'll see what happens.
But they're still looking to bring the previous entries of Diablo over to Game Pass. So, I don't know. I think it's a bit early to say, really, because they're still going through this deal. So, we're just going to have to wait.
Definitely. Yeah. WWE 2K23 getting good reviews. That's good.
That's good for you, isn't it?
2022 was a good game. It was quite fun. I've pre-ordered 2023, so I'm going to be playing that when it comes out in 2 days. Yeah, wrestling games are fun. I have a wrestling channel, Potato Pro Wrestling, if you want to catch up on how I feel about wrestling. Might do a video on it or two. I don't know. I'll have to depend if I can capture footage off it. I'll have to have a look. But yeah, that sounds fun. I'll probably end up looking into that.
I can help you with that because I've been using the capture device, which I got it for like £100, and it works with like my Mac Mini. But I don't know how it goes for your laptop. But I think to me, it's just like I'm interested to get 2K23, but I think it will be really expensive because I think the 22 version is like really cheap. It would be great to do this game, and I like to do the flyweight championship. You're not interested to do that because it's going to be a lot of work involved. Because the PCCW's got like a flyweight championship, and I think it's really fun. But unfortunately, it's just like we don't expect that to come anytime soon, and I don't really want to spend too much money these days. I mean, how much is a 2023 at the moment? Is it like 60 quid?
Yeah, it's 70, I think. I got 60, but it's very expensive. So I did PCCW, which was like my own fictional wrestling promotion where I booked the show. I had Potato versus Chief, which were like the two characters. You had Captain Wales, the Jobber, and stuff like that. You had the Demonetizer, which is like the monetization YouTube. And Mecha John Cena, and that was quite funny. It was fun. I enjoyed doing it, and I had like the flyweight championship, which was basically the KFC title. I
love that one.
Nakamura.
Yeah, I love that one.
Nakamura from wrestling becoming Ronald McDonald and basically destroying the belt and putting a burger on it, even though it's supposed to be fried chicken title. It's like, you monster heel. Yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed doing it, but no one watched it. But I put a lot of effort and time into it. I had really complex storylines. I had plot twists, and I had multiverse stuff. It was like the MCU before the MCU became a thing. I was had multiverses and all sorts of stuff. I had Stone Cold Solid Snake. So it was like Solid Snake for Stone Cold Steve Austin and all sorts of stuff like that. silly stuff. But it was fun. I really enjoyed doing it. But it's so much effort making all these characters and making storylines and stuff. And then no one watched it, so it's like bummer.
I just think that if you were to focus only on the flyweight championship, it'll probably get more views.
Yeah, it's just a pun, though, isn't it? That's the joke, and it flyweight is like half. It's funny because it sounds like flyweight. It's about fried chicken.
Stop explaining the pun. Sense. I get it.
Yeah, if you guys are interested in watching some Potato Chief Pro Wrestling PCCW, the series I did like about 20 episodes. That's on my channel, and they were a lot of effort and they were fun. But yeah, it's not something I'm planning to go back to because it just takes so much time, and I don't have a recording equipment to do it either. So yeah, but maybe one day if I get a better setup to record. It's because the Xbox is 4K. And I can only record in 1080p, 720p with the recording device I got. So I'd have to lower my graphics settings just to record. So I'd have to move a load of cables around and stuff. It's just a lot of effort. And I'm like, nah,
yeah,
can't be bothered. If I get a Series S, maybe I'll do it then.
True. But I think you just need to go for a USB capture device, but that's pretty much it. Anyway.
I might buy one of those. Anyway.
Moving on. Xbox sales! Over 600 titles, including over 50 backwards compatible ones. And, as it turns out, there's a lot more games that are reduced by 80 to 90%, which if I can bring up on the screen now, Anthem is reduced by 90%, along with Mad Max, Scribblenauts Showdown, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and XCOM 2 collection as well. So there's a lot going on there. So you also got a bunch of Lego games off by 85 or 80% off. And there's more like Cars 3, there's Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris. And there's definitely a lot more. Like you get Titanfall 2, that's a very good game. You get it for 85% off. Watch Dogs 2, 85% off. And you get things like Prey, Marvel vs. Capcom, and so much more. So I think this is definitely what you should check out. So yeah, save you. I think this is like Easter. It's just like Easter came early, so I think it's definitely something to check out with.
Because there was a sale that was on a couple of days ago, and I bought the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storms 1, 2, 3, and 4 for £10, all 4 of them in one package. And I got Tekken 7 for like a tenner as well. And I got Pac-Man 265, I think it's called, a Pac-Man game for like really cheap. So there's some really good digital sales on Xbox. I'm definitely gonna have a look at this sale later for sure. Yeah.
But speaking of Xbox Store, some of them are not appearing to be available for the device, and it's caused by a glitch. Many people have been finding all those special prices which they can pay for, which in the moment it's been showing that it's not playable on a device, whether it's on Series S or X. And according to Microsoft, it's actually a bug. This even affects WWE 2K23, and it shows it's not playing on the device. So have you actually had any problems with that?
Not so far, but I'll have to look into that. I haven't seen this bug. I'll have to look into that for sure. But yeah, obviously be careful, people. I think we really want to just try and get through the news quick as possible because we've still got loads to get through. So Capcom Spotlight. Ooh, so there's a Capcom like direct thing, and they announced Street Fighter 6. Exo Primal's coming to Game Pass, which is awesome, I suppose. It's a game coming to Game Pass day one.
I think it looks live service there. It's coming out in June, but I just don't know because doing a Capcom Spotlight is just like went through a lot of things you can buy or something, all those cosmetics, and I thought, I think it does look like a live service and looks like Destiny with dinosaurs in. So I don't really have a lot of hopes for it.
The fact it's on Game Pass is good because we can actually try it. I mean, that's the thing. Like the difference between because the PlayStation showcase they had when they had Suicide Squad, everyone was like, "Ugh, Suicide Squad looks bad," and it's this live service. But if they went and it's coming free to Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, I don't think people would be as mad. There's the fact that they will expect you to pay 70 quid for it, and then they have all these microtransactions on top. That's kind of might be partly why. I'm willing to try Exo Primal out though, for sure.
But there's a caveat that you need a Capcom ID in order to play Exo Primal or the online features of Street Fighter 6. So basically, it's another Bethesda ID on top of those games.
I hate having extra IDs for this stuff. That's so annoying.
I think the purpose of these is just like it's doing with cross-corp progression, but I think it's just like, oh, you had to make those accounts. Like, if it was me about 10 or 20 years ago and told, like, you need to account in order to play the game, I would definitely step right out of it. And because I don't really like making so many accounts and keep sharing my details with other companies, which you're only doing this just in order to play the game. It's just like, it's only like when it comes to the game, I enjoy it, so I make an account with it. So it's just like, trying to encourage people to have accounts. Like when it comes to setting iPhone app and you thought, oh, that's cool. You install it and turns out you have to make an account in order to use the app. And it's just so ridiculous.
And you don't know if if you can trust the app maker, if the new app. Like TikTok and stuff, and there's all these conspiracy stuff that is like sending all your information to like China and stuff. So it's like, ooh, I don't know how I feel about all these apps and all my information being shared. It's not very good. So be wary, people. Maybe I'll try Exo. You might have just put me off trying Exo Primo now. I'll have to see how I feel if I want to make myself a Capcom account. I might do because I like Street Fighter. Maybe I will.
I would say it's more extinct now, isn't it?
Hey, Microsoft. So we're just going to blaze through the last few news stories really quick. Microsoft has reached 10-year deals with Ubitsu. I don't know who Ubitsu is. And what was the Ubitsu and Boostroid. So these are basically two different. You shared the story about Ubitsu, and I shared the story about Boostroid. Boostroid is the largest cloud storage, cloud service in the world that's independent from is an independent company. They are based in the Ukraine, and they have lots of little servers all around the world. So they do cloud gaming, and they're partnering with Xbox, which is cool. So that's really good news. As the FCC and all these other big companies cared about Xbox being the dominant force in cloud gaming, the fact that they're partnering up with all these smaller companies is fantastic. I don't know what Ubitsu is though. So what is Ubitsu? Will you?
It's a company that does cloud service for the Nintendo Switch, and
okay.
And it's just basically works as separate games. So if Microsoft were to purchase these, it just means more oomph towards the beta cloud service for Xbox. So I think this is really good because I think it could possibly mean they can drastically overhaul the cloud service for not only Xbox, but also for the Nintendo Switch. And it kind of hints whether we start to see Xbox games on the Nintendo Switch, or we see more cloud-based games over the Nintendo Switch. I think this is actually really positive because I think the Xbox's cloud service needs more in order to make it work, and I think it's important to make sure it has enough oomph to make the cloud gaming work. Not only that, they also got GeForce now, which means there's even more support
last week.
Yeah. So I think Microsoft is going to be accelerating with the amount of technology enhancements for the whole thing. So this should be quite exciting, really.
Because that's what a lot of people were scared about. They say, like, oh, if Xbox buys Activision, they'll be the dominant force in cloud gaming, and they'll have Call of Duty exclusive to themselves. So now they've gone, all right, fine, we'll got a 10-year deal with Abitsu, 10-year deal with Boostroid, and now we've got a 10-year deal with NVIDIA and Nintendo. So they've basically got all these deals in place, so they can't be considered having a monopoly in cloud gaming, which is interesting and very clever. It feels like now Sony's literally the only person who's not accepted the 10-year deal. Everyone else has. Everyone else is like, yes, please, we'll have Call of Duty for 10 years. Sony is still being like cowards about it, which we're going to talk more about in our topic of the show, so I won't go into too much detail. Before we get to the topic of the show, we have breaking news again. Xbox breaking some massive news just before we started the podcast. It's not that massive, to be fair, but Ghostwire Tokyo is coming April 12th. We knew it was coming, but now we have an official release date, and it's coming with Spider's Thread update, whatever that is. So it's an update with extra characters. There's going to be extra modes, extra stuff to do, extra stuff in the game. It's going to be essentially when Deathloop came out, they had the Golden Loop, which is like the Game of the Year edition. I think this is essentially the same thing. So Ghostwire Tokyo is going to have the Spider's Thread update, which is essentially their Game of the Year. And that's coming out on April 12th. And I'm very excited to actually finally play Ghostwire Tokyo. I'm doing some Naruto hand signals, Rasengan.
Do they have ninjutsu in the game, though?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like ninjutsu. That's what you do. You hand signals like this, and they go, "Wah!"
No, I mean, do they do hand signals in the game? Not just in general.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
In the game. Yeah, that's how you play the game. It's like that's how the game works. It's like you're like a magic guy, and you can see your hands on the screen doing this. Yeah. Sharingan! Hurry!
That's cool.
How much Naruto it is, even though I just bought the Ultimate Ninja Storm games. Yeah. Naruto! Sasuke!
I've been checking out lots of different animes, and I haven't watched a lot of anime recently, but I think I'm just more interested in more Western shows because I think it's just like the novelty of the anime is just kind of wears a bit thin. Like I think in the early 21st century, the noughties is like got the best of the stuff there, and it's like Dragon Ball Z in like 90s and Sailor Moon, but I think many people who followed anime, like if you follow anime like Guru Lawi, you would definitely like get into things like retro animes. But I think most of the people in the 90s is like used to Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, those sort of things.
Yeah, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball, and then I watched a load of Naruto like a couple of years ago, and then Death Note's my favorite anime of all time. I love Death Note. Gurren Lagann. I watched the first series of Attack on Titan, but then I've not really watched much anime since. I've not really kind of dropped off the anime scene, to be honest. And now I've become a jock. I'm watching all like sports. So yeah, sports, woo, football.
Have you checked out anime that has stupidly long titles?
Oh, I've seen some of them. I haven't actually watched them, but I've seen like some long title anime. They have really weird names. So that was a random aside. Ghostwire Tokyo coming on April 12th to Game Pass. Very excited for that because it is now a first party company, so I'm really excited. And I really enjoyed Hi-Fi Rush, so anything new by these guys is going to be wicked. By the time
who'd you get the call?
Ghost Tokyo. That doesn't really work.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's time for our topic of the show.
Topic of the show! A quite embarrassing person into the whole thing. Who is this name again?
Jim Crying Ryan. Jim Ryan Crying Ryan. I stole that from Xbox 2 before anyone says anything. I think he calls him Jim Ryan Crying Tap Dancing Ryan, I think he calls him.
I would say he's more Jim Trying.
Oh,
you know why?
Trying not to crying. Oh.
So apparently, according to him, I believe, he said that I don't want new Call of Duty deal. I just want to block your merger. And I think he's actually trying to block it all off. And I think it's just more like trying to do backhanded comments about, oh, it's going to get rid of Call of Duty on how it's bad for the competition. But apparently,
Xbox is cool. Yeah.
Apparently, the Sony is now being ordered by courts to release the documents they have on like the deal, and now it's just a lot of it is being brought out. So, did you find any information on the documents there?
Yeah, there was some stuff. It's just, as I said, like, that was the most intriguing thing was that line where he goes, "I don't want a Call of Duty deal. I just want to block your merger." What I mean, it sounds childish, but what I really want to happen now, right, is I want Xbox to be like, "Here's your 10-year deal. Here's your 10-year deal. Here's your 10-year deal," and they go, "No, we don't want it." And then I'm hoping the governments go, "Well, Xbox tried to give you a 10-year deal. You didn't accept it. We're gonna put the merger through anyway." And then PlayStation goes, "Well, I'll have your deal now." And then Xbox goes, "Nah, you should have took it while you had the chance. Sorry, no, the deal's no longer available." That's what I hope happens. I would love that. It made me laugh so much if PlayStation completely screwed themselves over. Because it's just being childish now, and it's really annoying. I just wanted to, like, I really want to see Sony, like, I want to see this backfire. It really annoys me how childish they've been about this. That was like one of the articles. It was like saying, Sony is scared that Xbox might introduce bugs or make the game worse on PlayStation, so it won't sell as well on PlayStation. They're like, they might put a game-breaking bug in the last level, and then it would take so long for them to fix it that people would have left PlayStation forever and gone over to Xbox. How little faith does he have in his own system to think that everyone would just boycott it if one level was bad in Call of Duty? Like, you have so little faith in your own studios that you think that people would boycott your company if Call of Duty was slightly worse on your system? Like, how little faith do you have in your own people? That's ridiculous, Jim Ryan. Like, you're a ridiculous man. I don't understand where you're coming from with this. And why would Xbox make an inferior version and lose billions of dollars? Like, they get $1 billion off you every year for Call of Duty. Why would they sacrifice that? It makes no sense. It makes no sense to make a worse version on PlayStation. Plus, we have a worse version on Xbox because you get all the exclusive content on PlayStation anyway. Like, that's something that's been happening for decades. And then you're saying it's like, oh, what if we don't get all the exclusive content? It's like, yeah, we don't get the exclusive content, so get over it. Stop being a child. Bring back Resistance or Killzone, or make a good first-person shooter yourself. Stop being a baby. God, it's so annoying. It's so annoying. Like, they resorted to conspiracy theories now because they know the deal's looks like the deal's going to go through. So now they're coming up with like bloody conspiracy theories, like Xbox are going to make the game worse, and they're going to have a bug that's going to destroy the universe. And Xbox are bad. Okay, don't let Call of Duty go to Xbox. Okay, Xbox are bad. Okay. Okay, so the Xbox are bad.
I just feel that he's panicking because he thinks as if he's going to lose out on it. And I think because of all this stuff going on, it just seems as if like Xbox is going to have exclusive rights to Call of Duty. But then again, they already made deals with other companies to promise that there's going to be Call of Duty on like other systems as well. Like they already made a deal with Nintendo to have Call of Duty on like Switch, for instance. And I think that's really interesting. But with the cloud services, I think it's quite likely we may see Call of Duty cloud streaming service on Nintendo as well. What do you think?
Yeah, exactly. I know that's exactly true. And they've already said that if this deal goes through, there's going to be 150 million more people able to play Call of Duty. They're going to be bringing Call of Duty to 150 million more people. So if PlayStation block it, they're like ruining the experience for everyone else. Like it doesn't make sense to be backing PlayStation at this point. PlayStation are just looking like children at this point. I thought it was interesting because I was watching an interview on Destiny Gary's channel and talking about the merger. And I thought it was fascinating, some of the stuff he was saying. Like the guy was saying on there, like Disney bought Fox for like a ridiculous amount of money and no one said anything. and then the Simpsons are exclusive to Disney Plus. And obviously, yeah, that's negative for Netflix. They're not going to get the Simpsons, but no one said anything. It's like it's the same thing, isn't it? Really?
Yes.
Like you're getting all this exclusive content for Xbox. Like I just thought it was fascinating, and it's like it's a really fascinating discussion. It's just like PlayStation want to stay in this era now where everything's 70 quid, and everyone basically they want everyone to pay 500 quid for a console, pay 70 quid for games, and they want that to be the future. And they want that to they want the game industry to stay like this forever. Whereas Xbox are making it so you can stream games on any device you own, and you only need a £10 subscription. Who's going to win overall? I think Xbox are the ones who seem a bit more. They're the Netflix compared to Blockbuster Video of PlayStation here. They're the ones who are looking more future. They're looking more to the future. Everything's service based now. We're moving into Game Pass as a service. Like Grandpa PlayStation, please move out of the way and get out of the way of the new generation.
Yep.
Oh man, the future's now, old man. like that meme from Malcolm in the Middle, isn't it? The future's now, old man. PlayStation, they're being pathetic at the moment. Now they're looking really, 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 really bad. They're looking really pathetic, and it's just sad.
Given the amount of the
I feel like Sony.
I think given the amount of the sell-offs in like America. I know the PlayStation is like set in America now instead of Japan, and how much they alienate Japanese players. It's just almost as if PlayStation wants to control, like, set the rules so that Xbox and Nintendo are pretty much like left out in the dirt.
Yeah, exactly. They want to remain the number one, and then they're not willing to actually do anything to remain at number one. They just want to moan and bitch. Instead of actually doing anything. It's like, as I just said, make a Killzone game, make a Resistance game, make a SOCOM game. You've got all these studios. You don't need to rely on Call of Duty. The fact you put all your eggs into this third-party game, it's ridiculous. It's like, I don't think Call of Duty is anything that special, to be perfectly honest. I would be if Call of Duty became exclusive to PlayStation tomorrow, I wouldn't care. I'm Halo. I'm good. Thank you. I don't need Call of Duty. The fact that they're like so worried about losing Call of Duty that it's like the end of the world for them proves how lack of diversity the PlayStation has. Like maybe stop making third-person walking simulators and sad dad games and make some actual variety in your actual lineup. God's sake. Actually make a shooter again. Like I miss Calls. I played Killzone. It was alright. It wasn't as good as Halo, but you've got Bungie, for Christ's sake, the best first-person shooter developer of all time, is my personal opinion. You've got Bungie, yet you're still like, what will we do if we lose Call of Duty? It's the end of the world. Oh. It's like, stop crying, Jim Ryan. Jesus, just go. All right, well, we got Destiny Day 1 on PlayStation Plus, and we're gonna promote the shit out of Destiny, and we're gonna get exclusive content to Destiny and all this stuff. And they like Destiny is probably the second biggest shooter in the world, I would say, after Call of Duty. Probably, I would say. What would you think?
I just think
maybe Battlefield might be second. I don't know, but
I would say that Microsoft's already got a deal with the EA, so they got EA titles in Game Pass, so you get like Battlefield.
Yeah,
and I think there might be some like counter arguments about like Call of Duty when they already got some deals going on for some of the franchises. But the thing is, like, Microsoft doesn't have a lot of like exclusive franchises, yet PlayStation's got lots of exclusive franchises at bay, and there isn't like loads of them happening in the moment. Like, they're supposed to be more SOCOM, but then they got the Guerrilla Games supposed to work on Killzone, but now they're just working on Horizon. They got like Resistance, but it's been put out in the dirt because Insomniac is actually working on Spider-Man games. It's like Naughty Dog doing like they can do Uncharted and some other things as well, but they're now doing Last of Us, and it just looks like likely they're going to make a more complete experience. And I'm like, probably not. Because I think it's just going to end up like having less variety. Like if you just like compared to like about 20 years ago, it's just like how do I put it? You get lots more variety at the end of 2003. Like there's a Dog's Life, there's like Ratchet Clank, Jack, and I think there's SOCOM as well. And I think there's a lot of good ones too. But it's just unfortunate that we're not seeing a lot of it, and now it's just like walking simulators. So, and whereas Xbox is now like thriving with more variety of games as well. So it's quite interesting.
I mean, we're an Xbox podcast, so I'm going to be biased when it comes to this, but I do feel we have a better lineup. Honestly, do. Like, we're having a little technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, it's my fault. Yeah, basically, to sum it all up, Xbox, I think, has a better variety in games. Sony, you need to step it up and get some shooters out there. Like, why aren't you making a first-person shooter? I don't understand. Why are you so concerned about Call of Duty? It's mad to me. Instead of putting all your money in the Call of Duty basket, you should make a new SOCOM or Resistance or Killzone. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I think it's just basically the same story, only that Microsoft seems to get a bit more leeway in getting this deal accepted, and Jim Ryan is getting more desperate. So, but it's more positive for us because it just means Microsoft is going to have this deal sorted out. We're going to get Activision games into the Game Pass, and Microsoft is going to get mobile games into Game Pass. So this is looking really positive for us. Whereas PlayStation is just going to end up making themselves look stupid because Jim Ryan is just like keeps spouting out a lot of nonsense just to get this deal to work.
Yeah. Jim crying, Jim Ryan. Yeah. Jim Ryan, if you're listening to this podcast, I don't know why you would be, but if you are, just stop it. Grow a backbone.
I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you a question about what you say to Jim Ryan. So now I had to come with a new one. So we're now down to this last section that we're now ranting about the PlayStation. We went for a lot of news. We rambled on about Halo Infinite, and now we're just talking about the PlayStation 5 Pro. So now we've got the last question. I have a question for you, Chief. This is an absolute improvised question for you. So, are you ready?
Final question.
Yes.
The final question. Yeah, okay, I'm ready.
Right. This is going to take a while for me to formulate a question for it. Now then.
Sorry. You can ask me the same question, just pretend that I didn't already answer it.
No. No, I'm not doing that. Anyway.
Okay.
So, I'm going to ask you this. So, the question is, this is going to be bad. If you were to travel back to where you was, like, if the life rewound itself 10 years ago to where you were, like 2013, what would you have done differently? Or would you just, like, act in the same way? What would you do?
If I went back, so if I could talk to my previous self, basically, if I could change the past. If I could turn back time.
No. You don't get to talk to yourself. It's like, you wake up and you realize you'll be sent back in 10 years to where you were. It's like as if you press rewind of the VR, ran around all the way by 10 years. So now you're in 2013 and everything beyond that is history. So you have to wait 10 years for that. But you'll be at the same age as you were in 2013. So what would you have done differently if you were to wake up in 2013?
Right, okay. So I would get the Sports Almanac and bet on sporting events. So that's a Back to the Future 2 reference. I'm sorry if you didn't get the joke. You just looked at me like, what? Get myself a Sports Almanac. Back to the Future reference. Bet on all the things that's going to happen and like become super rich. No. 10 years in the past, I would make sure I focus more on my games design studies. Maybe take my YouTube channel, try and make my YouTube channel a bit more, like move into using webcams earlier, and maybe move into making wrestling channels separately and making a game, maybe do Xbox the box a bit earlier as well. I mean, that's I feel like.
But then we would not have met in 2013. We're like still living in separate lives, and you're just going to end up with a whole batch of different people that you would do the podcast with. Also, it's most likely that you may end up doing the PlayStation podcast because a lot of people are into like PlayStation. So how do you feel about that?
In 2013, I was a PlayStation person as well because PS4, because Xbox completely fucked up the Xbox One launch. So we have an Xbox for people who don't have internet. It's called Xbox 360. I'm like, Don Matrix, shut up. What are you doing? You idiots. If I could go back in time, I'd probably just make sure put the effort I put into my YouTube videos now back then, because I used to do YouTube. I've been doing YouTube for over 10 years. But when I first started, I was just like uncut Let's Plays, no webcam. Quality of the microphone wasn't that great. So I'll probably get like a decent webcam, a decent microphone, and try and like make my quality a bit better and hopefully grow my channel quicker, because I've grown to 5,000 subscribers, but it took 10 years. So I think if I put a bit more effort in at the start, I would have grown a bit quicker and probably be in a better place. And maybe put a bit more effort into my university work as well. I just enjoyed it more because I loved uni. I wish I could go back to uni. It was such a good time. It's much better than working a real life job. Real life jobs suck.
It's just like you step into the bad. You just step if you step into the bad future of the world, like in Sonic CD.
Yeah.
Like if you do the certain decisions in it, you either go to the good future or the bad future. We're in the bad future because everything's falling apart and governments are obsessed with fascism. But if we do some like really good stuff, we end up becoming like rich influencers with everything.
Who got the Sports Almanac? That's the question. We got the we got the bad Biff Tannen story, the bad Biff Tannen future from Back to the Future 2, where he gets the Sports Almanac and becomes the richest man in the world, and he basically becomes Donald Trump, which is hilarious.
Yes.
If you ever see Back to the Future 2, it's such a good film.
I got it on Blu-ray.
Yeah. Me too. I got the trilogy on Blu-ray. I love Back to the Future. Awesome. I want to watch Back to the Future now. You've made me in the mood to watch Back to the Future. Yeah, so if I go back in the time 10 years, if I can't bring a Sports Almanac with me and gamble and earn a fortune and do the Biff Tannen thing, I would just try and focus on making my YouTube channel a bit better and try enjoy my university life a bit more. I guess that'd probably be about it. Enjoy life.
Yup.
And that is it for this week's episode, I guess. This is a record length episode. I think it's the longest episode we've ever done, I think.
Well, it's not exactly 2 hours, and also we've got a huge gap too, but it just means I still had to edit it. But so far, with the OBS set up, we don't really have a lot to edit with it, so it's even better for me.
For you. Yes. I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a really fun episode. We covered a lot. If there's anything you guys wanted to discuss with us, let us know in the comments below. Down there in the comments. Please subscribe. We're nearly at 100 subscribers. We want to get there before, I want to say by the end of the year, but that seems a bit pessimistic, doesn't it? Saying like we in 9 months we want to get like 10 subscribers. We want to get to 100.
We're actually currently at 75, so we only need like 25 subscribers. And I'm already getting some interesting ideas for the 100 subscriber video, so it would be really nice. Very nice.
Ooh. Yeah, if we can get to 100 subscribers before Redfall comes out, that's the goal. Yes. That's the next big Xbox exclusive. Yeah, there we go. We'll go with that. But yeah, we really appreciate everyone who's subscribing, everyone who's watching. It means a lot. And if you're still here, thank you. Thank you for watching if you are still here. And thank you. And that's it. Unless you want to say anything else.
That's all. I think we're pretty much wrapped up, just in case the connection gets
bad
again.
Folks.
So, anyway.
Yeah. See you guys. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye. Rest. Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at X Marks Box on Twitter or X Marks the Box on YouTube. And follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.